Conversations on self-compassion.
Mike, tell me about a time when you had to show yourself radical self-compassion.
Radical
Radical self-compassion.
Oh boy. I think radical self-compassion for me comes out when someone doesn't want me, whether it be in business
Rejection.
or romance. Because, you know, when we're rejected, it affects the same part of the brain as physical pain. Literally the same part is physical pain. That's why we say it hurts. So it's very tricky how to be in self-compassion when we feel like it's our fault and we're in pain. Oof.
I think it's such a good reminder. You know, I always try to use self-rejection is redirection because it can feel so personal that it's about my self-worth. It's about I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And it's always, for me at least, mine is always having to reframe it as this isn't meant for me and whatever is for me will find me, as hard as it is, but that is my tool for getting myself out of a dark place.
When you feel rejected.
When I feel rejected, you know, it's, of course, it's not immediate, but that's what I always try to go back to, of the mantra or the affirmation of whatever is for me will find me. And you just have to, it's like trusting in the process.
Yeah, it's almost like we know that our bodies and brains are trying to make us believe that we need to protect ourselves, but like you're talking about, just letting go and allowing the redirection.
Yeah. When have you had to show other people compassion, or has it been difficult to show other people compassion when you almost feel like they don't deserve it?
Yeah, I think sometimes when I'm dealing with someone who's a drug addict and they put their parents through hell and they're nasty and they've stolen from them and they've threatened them, it's hard for me to have compassion.
How do you work yourself to that? How do we all work ourselves to that place when we say, I can never forgive you, I can never show you compassion because you should have known better or you could have done better.
Yeah.
And what we may not know is that they were actually doing the best they could from a place of their wounds, from their addiction, from the way we've been conditioned.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still going through that with my own mother. Having compassion.
Yeah, I think compassion and forgiveness, they hold hands, right? Because I always say, you don't wake up one day and say, oh, I've reached the land of forgiveness. I am here. It's like one day you may wake up and say, I'm willing to forgive this person. And then the next day you wake up and you're like, it's a little stickier today.
Yeah.
But it's a practice of every day, can I get there to seeing them as innocent again? Because I want people to see me as innocent for my mistakes.
Right. And I think too, another intervention that I found helpful, you know, I'm an interventionist at heart.
I love it.
Is to be able to say, what was the benefit? So I have some trauma and wounding from my past, which led me to a lot of depression and drug addiction. But the benefit is it built a career for me. It allowed me to look inside myself. It allowed me to feel what other people are feeling. It's allowed me to make a bigger difference in the world. It's allowed me to have some self-compassion.
Yes.
So sometimes the things that we're so upset about, we're gonna stay upset about it if we believe there's no value. There's always value.
Do you think that's one of the biggest lessons depression has taught you?
Is
radical self-compassion?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest lessons depression has taught me is, because there's different levels of depression, the biggest thing is it's taught me how to help other people with it. I mean, that's the way I've turned it, but it's also helped me realize how we're always kind of one decision away from ending up in a spot that leads us down a darker path. And we know within ourselves what that is. We all know.
Right.
We're not naive.
Right. I read a book once that talked about we're the only species on this planet that knows right from wrong, where we know what will actually help us and what will hinder us, and we can see it clearly, and we'll still choose what hinders us.
Absolutely.